I thought I would start by telling you a little story about a remarkable experience that I had quite recently as a donor. Not as a fundraiser, but as a donor, being on the other end. And as everybody has said this morning, I have 41 years of experience as a professional fundraiser. I think that was very unkind, really, to draw attention. But you can probably tell by the grey hair. And anyway. So this is where I come from. This is the north of Scotland. And a little while ago, I was making a crossing from the island of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides, from Stornoway to Ullapool. And it was a lovely day, but I had a lot of work to do. And I was crossing on this boat, which is the MV Isle of Lewis, and I was seated in the lounge, and I had my computer out, and I had work to do, and I was quite determined to do my work. And as I was sitting there, the lounge area was packed with people, all on different tables, and Marie and I were sitting there together, and I was working away, and we became aware of somebody who was moving around from table to table, a remarkable and rather strange-looking person. And so I want to introduce you to somebody who I admire greatly. It's this lady, Mrs. Etta MacLeod. And as you'll see, she was dressed in this tabard, and she was holding two big collecting boxes. And I thought, wow, she's a fundraiser. And her task, she's a volunteer, her self-appointed task was to go round each table and talk to the people. But what was so surprising about it was that everybody seemed delighted to see her. There were obviously some people on the boat who knew her, but most people didn't. But they welcomed her. She sat at each table, and we were sitting there thinking, I wonder if she's actually going to get to us before we get to the port. But she did. She joined us. And she told us her story. Actually, she told me quite a lot. She told me about the Queen Mother's visit to her hometown. And she told me about the geographical makeup of the island of Lewis. And I started to realize that actually we weren't talking about what she was doing there and why she was fundraising. I could see that she was holding a box for an organization called Macmillan Cancer Care, and the other box was for a hospice. And I asked her about it, and she rather reluctant. She didn't want to tell her own story, but it turned out she was a cancer survivor, and she had just decided to give her time. She got the permission of the boat, the people who run the boat, to sit on the ferry and go back and forth, raising money for her causes. By the time she got to us, the boxes in her hand were really heavy. She never asked us for money. What she did was, she entertained, inspired, she laughed, she made us laugh. She was quite brilliant. And when it came, she had said, I have to go because I've got some other tables. We didn't want her to leave. We were so impressed with Mrs. Etta MacLeod. And I had to press her to take some money from us. And I just thought that was absolutely delightful. And I could see the eager anticipation on the next table as Etta left us and went to them. And I thought, fantastic. That is fundraising. That's how fundraising should be.